Hey, what's going on, guys? That's right. 2.0's back in the house. First of all, I just want to say thank you. It's a pleasure to be back on your screen this afternoon. I just want to thank you for taking the opportunity to check us out for another time. So, do me a favor, right before we go any further, just take a moment to share this link with someone, a friend or two, or post it on your social media platform. We would appreciate you sharing the work that we are doing here at 2.0. And if you're a returning subscriber, I just want to say thank you for the love and support. We appreciate it. And by the way, if this is your first time, you're just visiting us, I'd like to extend the invitation to go ahead and click that subscribe button and be part of the 2.0 family. And then you'll be part of all the discussions that we are having here. So tonight is a special night for me. I get to welcome, a friend of mine as part of the show. I'm looking forward to hearing his story, so he could share his story with you. So it's a pleasure to introduce Eddie Lopez on 2.0. Eddie,
Yes, sir.
how's it going, man? Welcome to 2.0.
It's going.
Yeah,
It's going. The popular phrase is life is lifing.
life is lifing.
Life is lifing,
I
but we got
like
to move
that.
on, right?
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
We have to move on.
When we talked a couple of weeks ago,
Yep.
I got to learn a little bit more about your story, man. I felt like it was very fascinating,
Yeah.
and I said, you know what? Actually, you said that. You said there is no better version of a 2.0. There's no better example of a 2.0 than your story.
Yeah, I mean, and it's true because it's like, as long as we've known each other, right? We're talking about 15 years maybe.
At least, yeah,
I
yeah,
think the most in-depth conversation we had was that one when I had called you
yeah,
recently, and
yeah.
I've done a lot of growing up. I've done a lot of learning. And then to see you with this 2.0 platform, it was
Hmm.
just like, wait a minute. At first, I started checking in. I was like, all right, I see Junior doing this thing, right? Social media. And then I started to look into the backstory about
Yeah,
it. And it was
yeah.
just like, I'm not going to ask him, but if he asked me to be a part of the show, I'm there. I am definitely there.
Man, listen, I have
I'm
to say,
definitely
like when
there.
I got a little bit of your story, I was a little skeptical about reaching out because, like you said, we haven't spoken in a while, and I'm like, I didn't want to make it seem like I'm trying to intrude or
I
trying to get into
understand.
your story. So I'm like, I'm gonna test the waters. I'm gonna call him
Yeah.
and see, if he's open to it. But lo and behold, here you are,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
One thing I learned, because I was an instructor for a short period of my truck driving career, I used to always tell my students, if you're willing to listen, I'll talk.
Oh,
Right?
nice,
I have
nice.
no problem sharing a story. I have no problem sharing life experiences,
Hmm.
right? Because when I was an instructor, they gave me a curriculum. They said, here, you need to teach this to them.
Right, right.
And I read it and I said, nah, no. I said, I can teach, but it has to
Right.
be my own
The
style. It
yeah,
has to be me speaking from experience,
yeah,
right? And
yeah,
who better
yeah.
knows my experience than I do,
Absolutely, absolutely,
right?
and that is a very interesting takeaway, right? Because sometimes it's not just about following the books, right? It's not about just
Yeah,
following the
yeah.
the platform or the model that's already in front of you. Sometimes you do have to add your own experience and add your own thing to it in order to make it more relatable, so people can receive it much more.
There's no better teacher than life.
Absolutely,
There's no
it
better
is.
teacher than life, yeah.
Yeah, but I gotta say, man, you look good, bro.
Listen, my boy. Listen, this is not the Eddie you met
No, you
15 years
absolutely right,
ago,
man. It is not.
right?
So.
So, yeah, fine. I'll answer the question. Yes, I lost a bunch of weight, right? I lost a bunch of weight. I had a bariatric procedure done in
Mm,
2023. October of 2023 is when my life changed,
wow,
right?
wow.
My weight loss journey
Hmm.
started in 2021.
2021. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
At my heaviest, I was 540 pounds, right?
500
540 pounds. I
That
was,
is crazy.
you know those refrigerators,
Yeah, yeah,
right? With
yeah,
the
yeah.
two
Yeah, with
doors?
the two doors,
I
yeah.
was, I was one of those with legs. I was one of those with legs.
That's crazy.
I was a 6X in shirts and a
6X?
62 in pants.
No, 62?
62,
Dude, I
brother.
didn't even know the world they go that high.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
It's been a ride, Junior.
Oh,
It's been
man.
a ride. It's been a ride. But I lost weight, man. I lost. It was a journey. It was a journey. To bring myself to
Hmm.
a realization that I need to change
Wow,
was
wow.
tough.
Got you.
It was tough because it's like I knew I was overweight.
Right.
I knew I wasn't doing good. I didn't need it thrown in my face.
Got it.
I just didn't have the strength, the willpower to just get over whatever was going on up here.
So what do you think was that pivotal moment when you realized you're like, you know what, I got to do something? What do you think it was?
You're going right into the, oh boy. Okay, so how deep am I able to go here? You want just like full transparency?
Yeah. Well, if that ties up to the marriage, so let's go into the marriage, and then you can channel you into the weight loss.
So which one do you want first? Because my pivotal moment when I knew I had to change what
Yeah.
was going on
Right.
was when I found a picture in my phone
Okay.
that my son Ezra, my eldest, took of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was him because Ezra's always on my phone.
Right.
Ezra's always watching YouTube videos, so I
Of
knew it was
course.
him.
Yeah.
And I'm scrolling through my phone and I saw a picture of me,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm sitting on the kitchen floor
Mm-hmm.
with my back up against the wall. And the
Okay.
look on my face was, yeah.
Wow.
It was a hard realization that that's what my kids see on a daily basis.
Wow.
Right? Because when I'm out in public,
Yeah.
everybody's so used to this Eddie.
Right, exactly.
Right? The
Yeah.
smiling, the joking, the
Yeah.
sarcastic, just listen, we're going to live it up. If you're around me, we're going to have a great time.
Right, right.
Because that was always the persona that I put out there.
Gotcha.
Right? Because in reality, what I was protecting was that picture.
Wow.
Right? I can't have nobody see that I'm not
Right.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't let anybody see that version of me. So when I saw it, it's like, yeah, I can't.
So what was going through your mind when you were looking at that picture?
It brought me back to that same exact day. I knew exactly what I was going through that day. I knew exactly what happened to me that day. It was just like, it's funny. I found a picture a year later.
Wow. Okay.
Just going through my phone. I was just
year
random,
later.
right? Because pictures capture moments. And I'm very big on moments. I'm very big on just memories. So I was going through it. As a matter of fact, I was looking for a picture to post
Yeah.
because I told you I was a little bit active in social media for a little bit, right?
Right, right,
Especially
right.
with my weight loss transformation, my mental health recovery. So I was looking for like a flashback photo to find, and I found that one.
Wow.
And that picture, I was at the end of my rope. I was at the end of my rope. I was walking downstairs to my basement where the laundry room was at, and
Yeah.
I collapsed in front of the basement door.
No way.
Literally, just legs gave out.
Really?
Collapsed. Pushed myself up against the wall,
No way.
and I thought to myself, man.
And that's when your son ended up taking the picture while you collapsed?
At some point, because in the photo,
Yeah.
I'm sitting up against the wall, and you
Okay.
can see my face is. I've publicized this photo. A lot of people have seen it. I'm sitting up against the wall. My face is drained. While my son is taking the picture, I'm contemplating suicide.
No way.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. And my son captured that.
Wow.
My son, Ezra Michael Lopez himself.
That is crazy.
I woke up that day, right? It was a Saturday. It was a Saturday before Christmas. And I can replay it like if it was yesterday because I'll never forget that moment. That was my pivotal moment.
Got it.
Ezra got the picture. I didn't tell him to take it. I didn't pose. It wasn't like, it was a raw, uncut version of myself that nobody ever saw.
Got it.
And it was a moment of vulnerability to publicize that. It was a moment of vulnerability to post that. Right?
I can imagine, yeah.
But that was my turning point to answer your question.
So you were contemplating suicide at the moment, like,
Yeah.
so I can imagine there was a lot going on.
a lot.
Like, okay. So we can come back to that a little later. So,
Yeah.
you were married.
I was. Oof, okay. Can I say it?
Sure, go
All
ahead.
right.
Yeah.
I'm divorced.
How does it make you feel to say that out loud?
It's scary.
Why? Why is it scary?
Because it's not something I ever imagined. I didn't get married with the intention of getting divorced. I didn't create a family with the intention of getting divorced. I didn't have 3 kids with the intention. I didn't buy a house with the intention of getting divorced.
Yeah.
Nope. But here I am, 37-year-old, divorcee, father of 3.
Got it. How long were you married?
9 years.
9 years.
13-year relationship, 9 years of marriage.
Okay. And how was the relationship overall?
It was okay.
Yeah.
If I can give you a one-worded response, it was okay.
It was okay.
It wasn't horrible,
Right.
but it wasn't great. And I don't want to say it wasn't great because you know how it is when you first get married.
Of course,
it's the
yeah,
lovey-dovey.
yeah.
It's like I got my wife. She got
That's
her
how you got 3
husband.
kids, right?
That's how I ended up with 3 kids, right? But it was a learning experience.
It was okay.
It was
How
a learning
so?
experience. I had to learn a lot about myself. I had to, obviously, because now I'm married. I am responsible for someone. We've created a family because we had Ezra immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we got married in June, we got pregnant in November, and July of the following year, we already had a kid. We were barely a year married before we had our first kid.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Now you got three kids.
And then Eliana came in 2000. We got married in 2021. No, excuse me,
No,
2020.
no.
Excuse me. We got married in 2014,
Okay.
right? Ezra was born 2015. Eliana was born 2018.
2018. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got one more.
And then Elias was born 2023.
2023. That's
Yeah.
3 kids.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So I said it wasn't horrible. It wasn't horrible, but there was a lot that we learned in the process and in hindsight, right? Post-divorce, therapy, conversations. There was a lot. There was
Got
a
it.
lot that went undealt with
Okay.
within our marriage.
Now you said the marriage was okay. Like what happened? What do you think it was just okay?
We were kind of just going through motions,
So
right?
you fell into a routine? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, very quickly.
Okay.
Very quickly, right? I've been a truck driver, right? So obviously my job calls me away from the house a lot.
Okay.
And the way that I was raised, my mentality was the man works, the woman helps the man while he works.
Right.
Right. So it's like I said during therapy one time, it was unspoken expectations.
Yeah.
Right. I expected something, but never
Yeah,
said
said
it.
it, yeah.
She expected something, but never said it. We
Right,
kind of
right.
both just dealt with things, right, as we went along.
Yeah.
There were conversations where, hey, listen, we should try this, we should change this, we should change that, we should go over here and try things like this. But it was never a clear cut, like, I'm going to hurt your feelings what I'm about to say, but I got to say it. It was never those kind of conversations.
Gotcha. You know, I heard somebody said, you know, the number one killer of relationship is uncommunicated expectations.
Yes, it is detrimental.
Yeah.
It is a cancer
Yeah.
because it evolved into a monster in my marriage. It
Gotcha.
evolved into an uncontrollable situation because now you get to the point of frustration. Now you get to the point of resentment.
Right.
Now you don't like your person no more because this
Right.
is your person, right? When you get married, that's your person. You don't like that person no more.
Gotcha.
Now the thought of that person aggravates you. The sound of their voice bothers you. Their quirks are now annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Right?
know.
Because now you have unspoken expectations.
Expectations. Right. Yeah. And what do you think some of your expectations were?
Oh boy. To be under not to be understood, to be supported.
To be supported.
To be supported, it was unassumed roles, right? She was a stay-at-home mom
Okay.
for the majority of our marriage.
Right.
Right? For our whole marriage.
Okay.
And I never had a problem with that. She never had a problem with that. At least I understood. I
Right.
thought there was never a problem with that until it became a problem. Right? So my understanding was if I'm going to work and I'm going to dedicate myself to providing for the household,
Right.
if you're choosing not to work, then you stay home and you take care of the house.
So was that ever a discussion or an agreement, or that's how you guys are going to build
No.
the family?
No.
So as you said, you just assumed
It was I
that was the
assumed,
expectation, yeah.
right? I assumed if this is the path we're going to take, then that's how it's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, granted, there were moments where it's just like, hey, listen, you should probably get a job. I need a little bit of help.
Right.
She attempted it and didn't work out. So, okay, right back to assuming your role. I'll
Right.
figure out how to go get it.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know. I guess maybe it's like the old school mentality in us, right? Because
Unfortunately,
me myself, at one point, you know, my former partner was a stay-at-home mom as well, you know, for a couple of years, you know, because I kind of like wanted her to focus on raising our son, and I was focusing on, you know, maintaining and providing for the family. So it's like, you know, that's how we were raised, right? That's how
Yeah.
we were built to be the provider, and I can understand that was your frame of mind. Like the moment you got married, you automatically assumed the role and went right into it.
Provider.
'Cause he was like
Provider
second
and
nature.
protector. My job here as the head of my house, as the priest of my house,
Yeah.
is to make sure that nobody comes in here.
Right.
Right? That I protect my wife, I protect my family.
Yeah.
And I make sure that all needs are met.
Right. Right.
To a certain degree, that's what I did.
Got it. And what do you think sorry to cut you off, but what do you think some of her uncommunicated expectations were?
That I didn't work so much.
Wow.
That I would spend more time at home. That I would dedicate more time to her. But
Okay.
I couldn't
You
because I had to
couldn't?
work. I mean, excuse me. Not that I couldn't.
Yeah.
I didn't have much of it.
Gotcha.
right?
Because you were working so much.
Because I was always working, and then when I wasn't working, it was, let me go home and help around the house. Let me take some of her burden off,
Right.
right? Because happy wife, happy life.
Right.
That's
what
the
they say.
motto.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So where's our phrase? Where's our phrase? Where's the supported husband is a great husband? Or where's the understood husband is a thriving husband? Right?
I like those.
Where's our phrase at? Because
Yeah.
marriage and society is built around the illusion of the woman's point of view, which is great.
Yeah.
I don't take away from that.
Right.
But where do we get left?
Right.
Right? Because there's no safe space for us.
Gotcha.
So in my marriage, in my upbringing, it was shut up, figure it out, and be quiet.
Got it. That was the basic instructions for men.
That's it.
Yeah, you don't communicate anything, you don't verbalize anything. You take, you eat those punches.
Take it to the chin and keep it pushing.
Yeah, yeah. So you would say that was I guess the beginning of the downfall of the relationship, or that
I mean,
contributed to
realizing it, right? Like I said, in hindsight, post-divorce, current therapy sessions, I'm starting to realize where a lot of the unspoken expectations festered into bigger issues. And those turned into resentment. And
Right.
now we're calling things out that it was just like, wait, I mean, I didn't know you feel like that.
Right,
You
right.
never told me that.
Yeah,
Oh, well, I didn't know how to communicate that effectively. I do now.
gotcha.
Oh, we should have, okay, all right, gotcha. But I'm listening. Okay. Or then it was me gathering the vocabulary and the willpower to say, you know what? I don't like what's going on.
Right,
Because my fear in marriage was always upsetting my spouse.
right. Yeah,
I have a childhood traumatic response to abandonment. Right? My mom and my dad were 13 and 14 when I was born.
no way.
Yes.
Really?
So I was raised by my old school Puerto Rican grandmother.
Oh, wow.
And in the old school Latin culture, the man works to the bone and the woman stays at home and provides a safe place for that man to come home to.
Got it.
That was my expectation.
Got it. So you never had a relationship with your father and mother?
Well, my mom was always around.
Okay.
My mom was always around. I didn't know she was my mom until I was like 3 or 4 years old.
No way.
To me, that was always my sister.
Wow.
My uncles were always my brothers.
Wow.
So now, even now, yes, my mom and my dad are back around. We've spoken, we've healed. My mom is like, that's my buddy.
Wow.
Like that's bro, if you would. Like that's
yeah.
my mom. Like I did so many crazy things in life with my mother because that's always been my sister. My grandmother was the one I feared.
Gotcha, because she was the
She
disciplinarian.
was the disciplinarian. She
Yeah.
was the drill sergeant. She's the
Right.
one that created the person that I grew up I thought I had to be.
So you think some of the abandonment issue that you referred to, you think that played a factor in your marriage?
Oh, huge.
How so?
Yeah.
How so?
Yeah, because I always grew up thinking that I had to earn my mother's love, that I had to earn my dad's love, that I had to work hard to get that approval,
Okay.
right? For them to see me. Hey, mom and dad, it's me. So I went into my marriage like that. I went into my marriage with a preoccupied, anxious attachment style, which is therapy term, right? I come to learn.
What does that mean?
So there's 4 different types of attachment styles I'm
Okay.
learning post-divorce and during therapy sessions, right? And I've come to find out that mine is anxious, preoccupied attachment styles, which means I treat my relationships as my identity,
Wow.
right? And because of that, I become hypervigilant, and it's super annoying because now I'm looking for red flags that will cause me to protect my inner child.
Wow.
I'm looking for signs in your behavior that's going to tell me this isn't a safe place.
Wow.
I'm looking for vibes
Right.
that tells me I'm not safe here.
Got it.
And what that does is it puts me in a state of alert, right? And in my marriage, in my childhood, it was always please mother so that I can receive the love that I need. So I went into my marriage, please wife, so that
Gotcha.
I can get the love that I
That you
need.
need. So you always felt like the love was always dependent on something else, or dependent
I
on
felt like I
something
had to
else.
earn it. I had to perform for it.
Got it.
Yes,
Got
yes.
it. Yeah. And because you felt like you constantly had to be looking out for red flags, it actually took from the enjoyment
I couldn't
of the
enjoy it.
relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I couldn't enjoy my childhood,
Right.
right? My marriage was solely based on how happy can I make my wife today? How can I earn, and I love you today? How can
Wow.
I earn a form of affection,
Got it.
right? How can I earn my place here
Right.
outside of what I'm already doing? Because to me, it was never, to me, it was never enough.
Gotcha. Now you mentioned therapy a lot. So at what point during the relationship that you felt like you needed to go to therapy? And
After,
was there a specific event that triggered that?
yeah, my not attempt, because I didn't attempt anything, right? Let me just, for the record,
Yeah, no,
I did not
no,
attempt.
I meant an event. Was there an event that triggered or that triggered it that said, "Hey, you know what? I think I need to go therapy."
Yeah, that when I fell on the floor and my back was up against the wall.
Got
I
it.
saw the picture afterwards,
Right.
but that right there told me I need to do something.
Got it. Now going back to that question we had paused earlier, the reason why you were on the floor is because you were contemplating suicide.
Yes.
So now we talk about a little bit about some of the issues that were going on in the marriage. Was there anything else that added to the situation that caused you to be thinking about suicide?
No, I was just burnt out.
Just burned
I
out.
was just burnt out. My ex-wife recently confessed to me that there was a lot she was going through as well too. Right? So now it was the weight of the household, the treadmill effect, if you would, right? I'm running and running and running, I'm getting nowhere.
Nowhere. Yeah.
So my body physically could not handle it anymore. I didn't know what else to do. I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing.
Right.
Right. I'm checking off all these boxes. House is paid. Cars paid. Uh, Groceries. Right. A wife has at least $20 to go buy something. The kids have toys. Everything is being done. Why do I feel like this?
Right.
I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do.
Still feeling empty.
Why am I not getting the understanding and support that I feel I deserve? Why am I not getting the help that I think I need in the moment? Right. In the moment, I say. And my body physically gave out to that. I collapsed. Couldn't understand it why.
Yeah.
After I processed my thoughts and emotions, it was just like, man, it was a lot.
So what do you think it was? Was it like, when you say you weren't getting the help that you needed, was it something physical or was it something emotional you were looking
Emotional.
for?
For me, it's always been emotional.
Okay.
For me, it's always been emotional. It's always been mental.
Yeah.
Right? Physically, I have no problem with going and getting it done. I never had a problem with working 80 hours a week. I never had a problem
Right.
with working 3 jobs or 4 jobs or being on the road for 2. I never had a problem with any of that. As much as
Right.
I missed my kids, as much as I missed my house, I understood my responsibility. I have a family I'm responsible for, so I have to go get it. My fallout, my issues were emotional support, emotional understanding.
Yeah. It's interesting, you saying that. I mean, to hear it from a man's perspective.
It's tough.
It is tough.
It's tough because,
It's yeah.
and I'm sorry,
No, it's okay.
and I don't mean to interrupt you, right?
No, it's fine.
Society has this image of a man, right? Big, broad shoulders, structured jawline, right? Washboard. I'm working on it, by the way. Listen, I'm down 270 pounds, bro.
Nice.
270 pounds. I gave
That is awesome.
I gave
bro.
you my dimensions, right?
yeah,
I am now
yeah.
at a 2X and a 40 in pants.
Nice.
I can cross
from 6Xs to 2X.
Bro, I can sit. How come y'all skinny dudes never told me this is the way to sit?
That's why you're crossing your legs right now?
Because I was never able to do it. I was never able to chase after my kid. I used to be the, hey, come here, dad.
Yeah.
Now, I got no problem getting up and chasing after Ezra 270 pounds later.
Wow, man.
Right?
That's
Society has this image of a man,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
you're not supposed to show emotion. You're not
Right.
supposed to show feelings. You're supposed to be stoic.
Yeah.
Nothing bothers you. Nothing affects you. Wrong.
Yeah.
I am not okay. Because I couldn't live up to what that image was any longer. I couldn't keep the facade going anymore.
Right.
I couldn't.
And that's what a lot of people don't understand at times, right? From a man's perspective, yeah, we have the ability to provide, we have the ability to protect, we have the ability to make sure that the house, is never lacking anything. But at the same time, we do have, emotional struggles, emotional needs, and we feel like, we're not getting the support. It's almost like people are like, hey, you're a guy, you're a man. What do you mean you need emotional support? What are you talking about? But they don't understand how important that is.
Unfortunately for my ex-wife, she repeated a lot of the behaviors I dealt with in my abandonment from my mom.
Okay.
Right.
She also had abandonment issues.
She had her own. What I'm saying is that at some point in my marriage, I tied a lot of those negative feelings and emotions that I had towards my mother for abandoning me to her.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And you're asking me now, at what point, what was a turning point for me? And I can remember it now. It came back, right? Because you know how we just shove a lot of things, right?
In the back of the mind.
It came back. I got home from work one day.
Yeah.
I had just finished working 18 hours. Right. I stopped truck driving for a while, right? You guys know me, I'm a truck driver, right?
Yeah.
Truck and Ed. I stopped truck driving and I went to go teach at Nets. I went to go teach truck driving, right? Because I was told, we need you home.
Right.
Right. Mind you, I just bought a house. We have a car. I have this load of responsibility.
Yep.
That is, it's placed on, not placed, that I've taken on, right? That required me to make X amount of money to execute.
Right.
Hurt myself, right? Made the decision, I need to get out the truck for a little bit. Physically, I had diabetes, high blood pressure, hypertension, I was high everything.
Wow.
Right, mind you, I'm 500 pounds. I'm a ticking. I'm a ticking time bomb for a heart attack.
Right.
And I'm a truck driver, so I understood the assignment.
Right.
Got out the truck, started teaching. Now I'm making $30,000 less a year, which means I have to work more.
Yeah.
But now I'm more available to my family, which I was okay with. The house I bought, my job was right there. I used to walk to work.
Nice.
Right, it was right there. Came home one day after an 18-hour shift. 18 hours, you heard that part, right?
I hear it.
Came home after an 18-hour shift. The dreaded question, or the dreaded statement, we need to talk. I said, ooh, all right, trigger anxiety,
Yep.
trigger panic, because these conversations are never good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? These conversations are never good. We need to talk.
Whenever they start that way, it's never good.
Okay, fine. We need to talk. Let's sit. Let's talk. So, you know what? I'm not even going to shower. Let's just do it right now. Just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Conversation happens. You know, you're working a lot. You're not giving me much attention. Okay. All right. I feel as if you're not connected emotionally or mentally to my house, or excuse me, to the house. I said, okay. I can admit that I'm not okay.
Right.
I just don't know how to find the words to tell you I'm not okay. Let's move on. She says, you know, I feel very abandoned. I feel neglected. I feel X, Y, and Z. In my head, it was just like, wait, what do you mean? I'm working so that you can have these things.
Right.
I'm working so the kids can have this. I'm working so that we can have the house that you wanted.
Right.
She says, you know, if you keep on going down this path, you're going to lose me.
Wow.
I said, oh, that was tough for me. I have abandonment issues. Right?
Yeah.
I've earned your love up until this point. What do you mean, woman? I'm about to lose you. Yeah. And then she said it. She said, I haven't left you yet because I don't have a way to pay for things.
No way. Wow.
Yeah. And at the moment, I didn't understand how to take it. I didn't understand how to receive it.
Right.
So I took it as, I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I can't let that happen. I can't lose my family because I'm working too much, right? Because you know that's always a problem with men.
I know.
You work too much. Okay, fine. I can stay home.
Yeah.
And turn to what?
Yeah,
we lose the house?
Something's that. Yeah.
We lose the car?
Done. Yeah.
Right? So it said, left alone, whatever. When I started my mental health process, when I started my recovery after my suicide moment, right? Because I don't want to call it an attempt. It was a moment.
Right. Yeah.
Now I'm starting to learn the vocabulary. I'm starting to learn how I identify feelings, how to express myself. You know what? I don't like that you said that. I tie that to this, and it makes me feel X, Y, and Z.
So did you guys consider counseling together?
Briefly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had already made up my mind by then. I had already made up my mind that I didn't want it anymore.
You don't want what? The marriage?
I didn't want the marriage anymore.
You don't want the marriage anymore?
I didn't want the marriage anymore. I didn't want to sacrifice any more of myself because I felt like that's what I was doing the whole time. right? I gave up a lot of myself into the marriage. And I'm not saying that she didn't, right?
Yeah.
Because we know it's no easy task staying at home.
Right.
It's not easy being home all day with I know it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But it also wasn't easy to get up, rain, sleet, or snow,
Mm-hmm.
and make it happen. It wasn't easy to get up in the midst of depression and anxiety and still show up to work. It wasn't easy working 18 hours a day, come home, take a nap, and go right back to work again.
Right. Right.
It wasn't easy not seeing my kids for 2 days in a row, even though we lived in the same house.
Right. So do you think like there were things that could have been done from a time management perspective? Because it seems like, as you said, you were spending a lot of time working and not enough time at home or not enough time for the family. So was there a point, like rather than saying like I don't want the marriage anymore, was there a point that you considered maybe like downsizing on certain things or cutting down on some of the expenses just so you wouldn't have to work so much and have more time to spend at home?
I was on a bare minimum. Like literally what I earned at the school was enough to cover bills. So downsizing what? We sell the house. We sell the car. We stopped paying for internet. Right? Because we weren't living a luxurious lifestyle.
Right.
We were maintaining.
Gotcha.
Right? Food was being bought. Clothes for the kids were being bought. Right? Needs were met. There wasn't it's not like there was much to trim off of. If you're talking about downsizing, if there was a way for me to work less.
Yeah, scale back on some of the things that you had at home.
My solution was she has to go to work.
Okay.
That was my solution.
Got it.
It was attempted.
Yeah. But even with that though, if she had to go to work, then you still, you had like 2 kids or 3 kids, then you have to consider daycare
Which
and childcare.
I'm fully aware of,
right.
Which is where the understanding part comes in. I don't not want to dedicate time to you.
Right.
If you can find an uninterrupted 2 hours for me, for us to enjoy, you let me know. Because I can't find it. And yes, it sounds crazy. Like, how can't you? No, and the thing that I'm realizing, or that I realized after the fact, was that she was also going through her own stuff. She was also going through her own mental battles. She was also going through her own emotional battles that weren't communicated to me. It was projected on her. Hurt was projected onto me. My hurt was projected onto her.
Okay.
That's why I said we both bled on each other for 13 years.
Got it.
So when I realized how bad it was, I found myself very briefly, right? When I say myself, I mean the person, Eddie. And there was this much left. And I said,
right.
I'm saving this for me. This belongs to me. You can't have it. I'm your wife. I understand that. You can't have it. My kids can't have it. My friends can't have it. My family can't have it. This belongs to me. I finally found what I've been looking for, and it's been myself, my mental peace, my start to recovery.
Yeah.
Mentally.
Yeah.
It belongs to me. You can't.
Gotcha.
I can't risk coming back to this and going through this all over again. As far as, because there were multiple conversations, right? There was multiple conversations. What bothered me a lot is that every conversation ended up in me being left behind, in me being abandoned. Told you I got abandonment issues.
Right. Yeah.
You can't use my weakness against me.
Right. Right.
You can't ask me to be vulnerable and then it gets weaponized.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So the last conversation we had, right? I had called her attention about some things. I finally learned a little bit of communication skills.
Yeah.
So I approached it very cautiously, very soft, very, watch my tone, watch my mannerisms, right? You see I move my hands a lot when I speak.
Right. Yeah.
Did I mention the part I was an instructor, right? So my hands move a lot when I speak. I'm used to just, dialect.
Yeah.
We go back and forth. Her ending statement was, I want a divorce.
Wow. Wow.
You're saying this to me?
Yeah.
How dare you? I've provided a house. I've done everything I'm supposed to do.
Right.
This is the second time you told me you're going to abandon me. I will not allow it to happen a third.
Yeah, those are trigger words. Well, guys, I hope you are enjoying the interview with Eddie. And I told you his story is very fascinating. And so don't forget, we are concluding episode 1, and episode 2 is going to drop next week. So you don't want to miss it. And by the way, if you have not had the chance to subscribe to our channel yet, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can be part of the 2.0 family. And don't forget to hit that little bell so that you are notified the next time we drop an episode. And as we always say, you know, we don't support divorce. We don't promote divorce. Unfortunately, we do know that there are certain situations out there that requires a divorce. And in those cases, we do understand. And also, I want to let you know, if you are going through a divorce right now, you are not alone. You don't have to do this alone. Speak to someone. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with reaching out to someone. If you don't have anybody to talk to, feel free to reach out to me. Send me a message, DM me on social media. I'll be more than happy to reach out to you and have a conversation. So you don't have to do this alone. And remember, live every day as if it is your last day, because one day it will be. I'm JR. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.